I get it. Talking about money with your spouse can be really stressful. It can feel like one of those conversations in your marriage that's fraught with landmines, that you're constantly avoiding certain topics because you know it could be something that starts a fight. Whether talking about money is smooth sailing for you or incredibly challenging or just something that you want to avoid, I invite you to join my date night club. I set it up just for this purpose. My husband and I, a year into our marriage, were really struggling to talk about money together. I was a financial educator, really interested in money, watching our bank account day in and day out, seeing that money flow, and almost wanting to put a straitjacket on it, making sure it went to the places that I cared about most. My husband, on the other hand, didn't really care much about our money life, or so it seemed. He didn't really want to know how we were doing, unless we were doing really well or really poorly. But honestly, I couldn't stand the disconnect. I wish that we could talk about money openly, learn about money together, and really dive into our deeper goals. So we decided to meet together on a monthly basis to really learn about money. My background is in financial education and speaking, and my name is Grace Pomeroy, and I'd love to help you connect with your spouse around money this year through my date night club. In this club, you will be getting an email from me on a monthly basis on a certain financial topic. In the month of January, or whatever month you decide to join, we will be talking about goal setting. Because to me, money isn't just about budgets and spreadsheets and numbers. You don't have to be a numbers person to be good with money. Money is about envisioning those long-term goals and beginning to put fuel towards them. That's what your money is all about, fueling your vision of a fulfilling life. And when you connect those money and values together, that can begin to come alive. Now, in this date night email that you'll get from me, you'll get an icebreaker question, so something to really help cut through that tension and get to the heart of what money is all about. And along with that icebreaker question, you'll get a brief video, a couple minutes long, about me sharing about a specific financial topic, some discussion questions, and an activity that you can complete together. You can complete the whole thing in just about 30 minutes. And if you'd like to dig a little deeper, don't worry, you've got a couple of weeks before that next email comes your way where we'll be talking about an entirely different topic. This is a great way for you to reconnect with your spouse and reconnect with your money. This is a product that I would buy myself. And in fact, the first two people who joined the subscription package were my husband and I. We cannot wait to talk through these topics together. Because whether you're a financial expert or a financial novice, we all have something to learn about our own financial lives and how we can better handle money together as a couple. Now, oftentimes people ask me, I hear that you guys go on money date nights, you and your spouse. How does that really work? So I'd love to unpack that and share a bit with you about it. And if you've got questions about my date night package or how my husband and I do our date nights together, I'd love to hear from you. Put your question in the comments or direct message me. I'd love to answer it. So how do we make these money date nights work? First, let me tell you a bit of the backstory. I shared with you earlier that a year into our marriage, my husband and I were just feeling lost around how to connect with money. And to be honest, we had a lot of money fights and not a lot of great conversations around money. It was easy for us to bicker and nitpick on each other and not get to the heart of the real issues when it came to money. I'd heard an idea from a friend that they had made pancakes together and looked at their budget together every month. And I thought that was an absolutely brilliant idea. What a way to turn a stressful conversation on its head by sitting together, having some bacon and some pancakes, some orange juice, and chatting about money. I couldn't imagine anything less stressful in a money conversation. Now, I shared this idea with my spouse, and he said, Grace, I like that idea, but to be honest, being at home is a little bit stressful for me. It's easy to get distracted when I'm at home. It's easy for me to walk away from the conversation when it's getting uncomfortable. And honestly, it's a little easier to fight because you're in a private space. He said, what if we go out to eat instead? So I thought, interesting idea. We're talking about money, but yet we're going to spend money along the way, but we're going to give it a try. He suggested that we go up the street to one of our favorite restaurants, Doolittle's Woodfire Grill. It's awesome. If you live in this area, you should check it out. It's actually the same place where we had our rehearsal lunch before our wedding. So it has great memories for us. And we go on a Saturday morning and we get a booth and we sit there and we chat about money together. One of the best secrets about this whole thing is that we go work out beforehand. So we can eat our burgers, which don't cost very much but are incredibly delicious, and have our Arnold Palmers with absolutely no regrets, and just relax into the conversation. Doing this conversation on a Saturday has been really helpful for me as a type A person because I'm not thinking about all the other things I need to do. I can just sit there and enjoy our time together. Having Wi-Fi is really important because it allows us to connect with our budget, because we keep a lot of our things online rather than on paper or in a spreadsheet form. So having a place with Wi-Fi was something important for us. We also wanted to make sure we were just in a place that we were comfortable, which is why we chose Doolittle. So I encourage you, if you're going to try out this date night concept, find a place where you feel comfortable. Is that in your home, making dinner together, or maybe you get takeout and sit on the couch and agree to watch Netflix together afterwards? What would make you feel most comfortable for this conversation with your spouse? And particularly if you're the money person in the relationship, why don't you let your spouse take the lead on where the most comfortable place might be? Now, once we get into our comfortable spot, what exactly do we talk about? Here are the 4 things that my husband and I tend to go through every time that we have a Burgers and Budgets meeting. First, we talk through our budget. We take a look and see how we're doing overall financially. And one of the tools that I use to do this that makes it super easy is Mint.com. Don't worry, it's not a sponsored post or anything like that for Mint. I just really love this program. It helps me to keep my budget in check, and it brings together all of our disparate financial items, our investments, our savings accounts, our student loans even. We can pull in our budget for our bank account, for our savings account, for our debit cards, credit cards, all those different things are included. And I can see it in one place and look at our broader financial picture to see if we're on track. It's definitely more holistic than just looking at your bank account. The second thing that we do is we check in with our budget at large. Every year I create an annual budget for us, and my husband can attest this is probably one of my most exciting moments of the year. I sit down for 3 hours and I type up all the different items we could possibly be spending money on, trips, on gifts for family or friends. Maybe we might want to give more money towards our emergency fund. Maybe we want to put more towards our student loans, whatever it might happen to be. I create this big annual plan. I know, seriously, money nerd alert here. I totally hear you on that front. But we check in with this budget to see if we're on track and if anything has shifted or changed. One of the things we also do in that bigger budget is keep on track for certain goals that we may not be able to meet this year, but we want to keep in mind for future years. For instance, I'm standing in our house right now and I'm thinking about our bathroom, which we've wanted to fix ever since we moved into this house. We have the bathroom remodel on the list. It may not be something we get to this year, but if we were to have a son in windfall, we know where that money might go. The next thing we do is check in and see if anything's changed. Did one of us get a raise or have a salary decrease? Did one of us have a certain expense that came up? For instance, this summer, our refrigerator broke all of a sudden, so we needed to talk in our budget time together about how we were going to pay for that fridge. The other thing that we do, the last thing, is talk about bigger goals and bigger activities that we never really seem to have the time for otherwise. So we've talked about estate planning. We've talked about whether or not we are on track for retirement. We've talked about trips that we need to plan for. We've talked about some of those larger pictures of what we want our life to be about. One thing I often suggest to couples is create a list of the financial things that you need to talk about and bring them to your money date night conversation. So instead of sparking up a fight because it seems like a pertinent topic at the time, write it down. Save it for the next time you meet together. Now, obviously, if it's urgent, you have to bring it up beforehand, but try to do it in the most non-anxious way that you can. If you can wait, though, bring it to your money conversation, and that's the place to have it. My husband and I keep our conversation going in Google Keep, so we both know what we need to talk about once we get to Doolittle's and sit down and relax. So that's a little bit about my experience with date nights with my spouse, talking about money. I hope that it was helpful for you. But I must say, I encourage you to join this date night club. This is exactly the product that I would have wanted when I was starting doing Burgers and Budgets with my husband. We can't wait to talk through these topics. And best of all, if you join before January 25th, or 22nd rather, it is just $5 per month. $5 per month. It's so inexpensive. Think about what you spend $5 on, a cup of coffee, maybe lunch out at a fast food restaurant, and yet $5 can have such a big impact on your marriage and get you this email that really can unlock that money conversation with your spouse. Now, after January 22nd, the price will go up to $9. And if you join me before January 22nd, or on the 22nd, if you so choose, those procrastinators out there, you will get access, or a possibility of having access, because it's a giveaway, to my marriage and money survey. This survey can help you see your strengths and growth areas as a couple in a whole bunch of different financial categories. Your financial habits, your money history and money story, an inventory of where you are putting your money right now, your practices and beliefs about money. You each take the survey separately, you and your spouse, and then I knit your answers together to tell you where some of those strengths areas are and where you might grow as a couple. I also give you a personalized list of questions for you to talk through together to explore new ways that you might use your money in a more fulfilling way. So I hope that you'll join me in this date night club. You can find more information on my website. It's gracepomroy.com, GRACEPOMROY.com, and that's in the date night club section under Work With Me. I'd absolutely love to work with you. And once you join, if you want to hear more from me, you can always hit reply on those money date night emails to ask me any questions about the topic at hand, or to share with me some topics you'd love to hear more about. Can't wait to see you either in my Facebook Live next week at 8 p.m. or in my date night club. Hope you have a wonderful evening.